Howdy, 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 my name's Anashi Sasuke, and welcome back to Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we read through Dr. Wondertainment Pretendo, an accurate history book, Contagious Innumeracy, Electric Sheep, and Teleporting Destroyer, while also having microphone issues that may not actually have been microphone issues. So, in this episode, we're going to start with the Cursed Regeneration statue, and then go through the Mother of them all, Sentient Color, Uncharted City, and that guy. And there might also be microphone issues that aren't actual microphone issues, so if I falter in my reading and it's not my normal can't read for shit faltering, then it might just be that the light on my microphone freaked out again and it didn't actually seem to do anything bad. If that's actually messing up the audio, I'd appreciate it if you guys could let me know in the comments, but so far I've not seen any proof that it's doing anything wrong. So, well, the Cursed Regeneration statue is safe somehow. Probably, I guess, because you just don't touch it? SCP-596 is to be secured in standard containment chamber guarded according to the usual protocols. Care must be taken not to allow direct physical contact with 596. Yeah, see, there you go, just don't touch it. Only designated disposable dudes should do so. Subject should be medically screened before a new subject is applied to 596. O5 oversight may permit special exception when a healthy alternative for a unique and critically required subject cannot be found. All biological matter derived from 596 should be handled according to Foundation safety guidelines. As sedatives have been found to impede the productivity of 596, subjects must remain conscious when applied to it. Naturally, restraints will be required in order to facilitate the application of a new subject. It is recommended that new subjects be restrained to the operating table with one arm extended outwards from the body. This position most easily allows access to quickly decapitate the subject after application is made. Oh. The lobotomizer can then be applied to the brainstem once regrowth reaches the point to prevent further cognitive function. The Foundation Ethics Committee has determined that this practice best ensures a pleasant working environment for assigned personnel. After the new subject has been applied to 596, the old subject may be disposed of, blood and other fluid harvesting material may be connected to the new subject, and organ extraction can begin. Okay. 596 immediately after subject removal, severed fingertips and subsequent regrowth not visible from this angle. Description: SCP-596 is a 63 cm high bronze snake statue believed to be a representation of blank. It was recovered from a hospital in blankety blank blank in the hands of blank blank blank, suspected by local authorities of being a tomb robber. While the implications are clear, the original location of 596 is still unknown. When a person makes physical contact with 596, they are unable to release contact or move the statue themselves. The only way to completely remove a subject is for another person to make physical contact with 596, at which point the original subject will expire. When in contact with 596, any wounds or injuries will heal at incredible speed. Subject also displays extreme discomfort, although the nature of this discomfort is unknown. The regenerative effect of the statue is such that if the subject is surgically removed from 596, the subject will expire and a new body will grow from all the parts still attached to 596. Addendum Experimental Log. February 17th of something. It was brought in with a sedated subject blankety blank blank attached. Placed in containment chamber under observation. The subject appears restless and pained, with agitation growing as the sedative wore off. Once conscious, subject began to scream incoherently and writhe in what appears to be great distress. Despite this, they were unable to move 596. Behavior is consistent with considerable pain, but there is no indication as to whether this is physical or psychic in nature. On the 18th, that person was still unresponsive to questioning or other stimuli. They were led quite easily when gloved personnel moved 596. However, the subject is unable to take food or water, so IV may be required. We'll observe the effects of starvation first, however. March 10th. 3 weeks after arrival in blank shows no effects of starvation or dehydration. Subject has maintained motion and constant screaming without sleep for the entire period. The means by which 596 sustains the subject may be of use, provided the other side effects can be eliminated. Otherwise, suggest that 596 be scheduled for destruction. On the 13th, they ceased screaming at 12:04 today. They were sedated and examined. Examination showed that the vocal cords were completely shredded. 15 minutes after sedation wore off, they began screaming again. Further examination showed the vocal cords completely healed. This healing effect gives new promise to 596. On the 14th, they tested the limits of the healing effect. Sedated him and severed the left toe. No regeneration displayed until they regained consciousness, whereupon the toe regenerated in 26 minutes. Severed right foot without sedation. Regeneration began immediately and concluded in 83 minutes. Severed both legs. Regenerated simultaneously in 297 minutes. It appears that the regeneration in one area is not slowed by injuries in another location. On the 15th, they severed his arms that were being used to hold the SCP below the elbow. The body immediately died. The autopsy showed no identifiable cause of death. Regeneration of attached forearms began. On the 16th, subject began writhing as motor and nervous systems developed. Screaming began again at 7:36 as soon as respiratory system was capable, full regeneration at 21:05. On the 17th, they were sedated and restrained, hypodermic inserted into median cubital vein. Several pints of blood drawn before drop in blood pressure prevented further collection. Upon regaining consciousness, blood pressure improved and the drawing of blood could resume. They produced 72 pints of blood in the last 24 hours. Clearly, the regenerative power of 596 also accelerates blood production. Request disposable due with type O negative blood. Restraint disposable due applied to 596. They immediately released. The other one immediately released it and dies. With multiple draw points, disposable due should be able to provide the Foundation with a constant supply of universal O negative blood for transfusions and experimentation. Recommend disposable due type AB be kept on hand if universal blood plasma is required. On April 12th, while blood production continues, there are difficulties in instituting the organ removal program. Even while restrained, surgical procedures are difficult while the subject continues writhing. Severing the hands allows the collection of a complete body of organs at once, but interrupts the blood production. Decapitation seems to be the best solution, but unpredictable regeneration of the brainstem continues to cause difficulties. On April 13th, from Dr. John Drake, to Foundation Technical Development Request. Subject SCP-596 Automatic Brainstem Removal. Morning, chaps! Any chance you technical boffins could throw something together to chop off a head and stop it growing back? We've been doing it manually so far and it's becoming quite tedious, not to mention making everyone jump at the process is forgotten and the poor bugger starts screaming again. Please see the attached documentation which has been censored appropriate for level 1 and above. Regards, Dr. John Drake. From Foundation Technical Development to Dr. John Drake. Your request has been received and approved. A technician will contact you shortly. From Mike Smith to John Drake. Miss Dr. Drake, your completed request has been dispatched. Please see attached specifications. Although the device cannot perform the initial decapitation, consultation with medical personnel assigned to 596 determined that a smaller device that could remain within a regenerated skull would be more useful. Please complete the performance review for the development equipment within 30 days. Mike Smith. From Dr. John Drake to Mike Smith. Reply. Hi, Mike. Glowing review for the new device. The staff have taken to calling it the lobotomizer, although that's obviously technically inaccurate. I thought the suction system to remove the pureed brain matter was quite ingenious. As your specifications noted, by allowing the regeneration of the head, we can now extract eyes and tooth buds from the subject. Keep up the good work, Dr. John Drake. Well, that raises questions that I always have whenever somebody regenerates someone who's dead. What happens to the soul when they kill the people who were attached to the statue and then they grow new people? Do the new people have the old person's soul, or are they just a soulless husk that only knows how to scream? We'll never know, because whoever wrote that article didn't think that far ahead, and I probably just have some problems, but not as many as the people who write these. Oh snap! Now it's time for the mother of them all, which is Euclid. SCP-597 is to be guarded and researched by a rotating monthly shift. Those in charge of the design of the containment procedures are not allowed contact with the SCP. If at all possible, this duty should be left to overseer-level personnel. No one is allowed to view on video or through a window, or be in the same room as 597 for longer than 5 hours. Maintenance personnel are to alternate every day. The mother of them all. Okay. I was wondering if it was the mother of us all or them all. I just had to double check. Evaluation is to be given at the end of the shift or whenever mental distress seems obvious. If psychological contamination is too great and poses a tangible danger, termination can be performed immediately by the on-site analyst. The mental health offices are soundproof for this purpose. The doctor can terminate up to 10 individuals at a time. Any more requires the approval of an overseer. In this scenario, procedure 59732, weaning the babies, is to be activated. Vents in the ceiling require regular maintenance for this purpose. That doesn't sound good. Smoke detectors are not to be turned off for any reason. Candles and incense lit in 597's cell are to be taken as an indication of a dangerous obsession. The leaving and offering of food, as 597 does not require it, is to be viewed as in the same light as well. All other signs of unnatural love and religious awe are to be reported along with these. The room and the surrounding area are to be sealed with ventilation shafts, plumbing, and wiring checked daily. Measures are to be put into place for the continuous examination of all vermin in the facility. Animals not part of the study found suckling on 597 are to be removed and terminated as soon as possible due to risk of biological contamination. Because of this, in the morning, workers must wear hazmat suits while entering the cell, for 597 is often covered in vermin including mice, opossums, squirrels, and bats. How did these things get into the Foundation? 597 is to be hosed down weekly, with special care given to the areas around the nipples to prevent the buildup of saliva and drool. Ew. Those suckling need washing daily, as does the floor underneath them, for the removal of the puddles of urine feces for the first few days, but when solids completely leave the body, this is no longer necessary, although occasionally a thin watery substance is excreted, and vomit, which is produced when they drink too eagerly, quickly, or out of rhythm. The cleaning products are to be plain and unscented, use of aromatics and herbal oils will be noted, and no scrubbing is to be done by hand. Description: 597 is a blob of flesh approximately 5.8 meters, 19 feet high, and 35 feet wide, although this measurement changes slightly when it moves or the substances expand and ripple. It sounds like the brood mother from Dragon Age. All over its body, mostly located on its rolls, are hundreds and hundreds of teats of various colors and sizes. Whenever a mammal is released into its cell, it will be drawn to the corresponding teat for its species, and then proceed to suckle as long as they are unimpeded. The milk release will be identical in every way to the makeup of the subject's mothers, although able to sustain the subject's nutritional needs indefinitely. While the fluid is the same as normal milk chemically, for some reason, whether it be an effect of the SCP or an unknown quality of the substance it excretes, any full-grown mammal that would normally require more can survive to the end of their normal lifespan, give or take a few years, simply by suckling at the nipple. Although their teeth will fall out, their muscle will atrophy due to lack of use, the subjects will curl up as close as possible on the side, lay under the SCP, there have been reports of suffocation, or immerse themselves and dive into the flesh altogether. And stomach problems are presented because of the all-liquid diet. Milk taken in a bottle does not have the same results, although those already affected by 597 will fall under a quasi-hypnotic hold when presented with a container, will do anything to possess it, and will find drinking it very gratifying. Those in charge of bottling the liquid have the urge to use a rubber teat for feeding babies as a cover, even when a normal lid will suffice, and will attempt to do so even when informed that it is in violation of Dangerous Materials Protocol, not being an airtight seal. The urge to suckle is a mental, physical, and sexual compulsion. Lower life forms cannot resist at all. Humans have a difficult time. Those in 597's presence describe it as a mental pull, leading us to the conclusion that it is partially telepathic, although it also obviously appeals to deep instincts and is hormonal as well. Endorphins associated with breastfeeding and maternal comfort are released. Those who do give in do so in a mad rush, all restraint broken at once, or a slow ritual commonly involving bowing, kneeling, crawling, and chanting. They are reduced quickly to an infantile state, and within 1 hour lose all linguistic abilities, intellectual capabilities, and willpower. Before complete loss of brain function, it is said to be highly comforting and pleasurable, and they all say they feel safe like never before. Before and after contact is made, there are reports of strong feelings associated with vague images and recollections and sensations, all traced back to the womb or crib, often centered around remembrance of their parents' smell and facial appearance. Data expunged, blank, 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 retarded, blind, data expunged, permanently attached, data expunged, data expunged. Wow. Those who watch are also influenced, although in lesser or different ways. Increased pettiness, regression to childish states, extreme immaturity, decreased bowel control, fetishization, promiscuity, and even reports of public masturbation have all been noted. Staff's IQ, focus, and rationality all drop significantly over a period of time with 597, and they often will fight with each other over silly things such as objects or perceived insults, be racked with laughing or in crying fits, be unable to resolve problems in an adult way, and lose the ability to control their emotions. After 4 to 5 weeks, it is impossible for them to function in a work setting, and they all communicate with each other with a series of grunts, coos, and short, confused sentences. Attention should also be paid to the fact that the employee's name for the object generates from the official title to the mother, then just mother, then mom, mommy, mum, and so forth, often ending in sucking, blowing, or kissing sounds as the representation. Also of interest is that almost immediately strong oral fixations will develop or resurface. Those who quit smoking will start again, 100% occurrence, and the chewing of gum, snacking, gluttony, nail and lip biting, and hair chewing rises as well. Almost to the point of psychosis. There are deadly weight gains, choking incidents, balls or clumps of human material obstructing the digestive system, also known as bezoars. And murders over food. The vending machine is often completely empty, and dental and health problems. Doctors and personnel in the area of effect, even those entering for a few moments, will find themselves absent-mindedly putting something in their mouth without realizing it. Observation of the employees in their homes or private lives also reveals data expunged, all to the point of only being aroused by data expunged. Men with already unstable or fragile egos find a strengthening in Oedipal complexes, often to dangerous levels. 3 employees have raped and murdered data expunged. These same personality types also enjoy data expunge and request access to 597 for that purpose. Unfortunately, although this behavior is not encouraged, those with this disease are many, too many, to take a moral or ideological stance and completely restrict the activity without losing the needed number of workers. A good number are also high-level personnel, although revelation of their identity is forbidden and requires clearing the area and disabling the camera feed so they can perform the act, which is not allowed to go over an hour, or separation will cause seizures and homicidal tantrums. Specific procedure for sexual visits can be found in C document 597XD12. I hope that one's not actually in here. Addendum 1, see document 597XX23. And there it is! Oh, jeez. Oh, thank God it's data expunged. Whew. But anyway, found currently at 597's base and size are 61 specimens suckling. They are 4 dogs at the bottom, laying out in front like a litter, 6 cats, 27 rats hanging off its front. The wild vermin swarms that often hoard around it are especially problematic, but these are all lab bred except for 597SS19 and 577SS24, which refuse to be removed and are clamped too tightly on to just pull off. 15 bats that cover approximately all of its back, their wings flapping spasmodically, creating a slight gust. 8 humans! 4 disposable dudes, 3 doctors, and a guard. Addendum 2, see document XD12. Data expunged, data expunged, data expunged. Care must be taken not to allow them to attempt to rip or tear a hole in 597 for penetration purposes. Data expunged. So glad that they didn't actually show that. Addendum 3, see document 597XX25. An all-female task force has been shown not to be more effective in containment as demonstrated by 3 events. The development of bisexual tendencies in data expunged, the loss of 5 women guards who after writing "Mommy, Mommy, how I love my mommy" all over the walls of the cell were lost and began suckling, and the suicide of Dr. Vanessend, who after circling each and every teat in red Sharpie marker and writing "life" next to them, shot herself in the head. Addendum 4, see document 597XYC13. Expunged. Inside the temple, the SCP was found, surrounded by scaffolding and staircases with ladders propped up against the meat to allow as many people as possible to partake in the event. Data expunged. And this is Euclid? Alright. Definitely reminds me of the Broodmother from Dragon Age Origins, except much, much, much worse. Now it's time for Sentient Color. I know that I read the names of these before I started reading the actual things, but I don't remember reading the word Sentient Color. Bit safe, though. 598's containment area color shifted out of the sentience range via color camera lenses and image editing software. Pure images are forbidden. Sounds legit. SCP-598 is contained in a 3x3x3 meter room which has been painted solidly with Bear brand pearly white paint. The floor is mirrored. 3 bright lights are positioned on the ceiling in such a way that all the room is lit. It's lit, fam. These lights are to remain lit for 24 hours every day and are attached to a backup generator in case of power outage. The room will be examined for mold and stains daily, and these will be immediately removed if found. 2 level 2 guards are to be stationed outside 598's room at all times. Supervised contact with 598 is unrestricted to all personnel with level 2 access. All are subject to searches before and after contact and random psychoanalysis afterwards. Unless permission is received from an overseer, tools such as knives, scalpels, mirrors, paint peelers, or cameras are restricted. SCP-598 is an intelligent shade of yellow covering the whole of the inside of its cell. Attempts to reproduce it with paints, crayons, etc. have failed. Through experimentation, 598's properties have been discovered not to be tint or shade dependent. Different shades of light, except for total darkness, will not affect the item's sentience, but are hue dependent. A colored filter placed over the item's light source will cancel the effect. 598 can process audiovisual stimulus in its nearby surroundings, but it cannot speak nor move autonomously, nor communicate using normal senses. It is, however, telepathic and capable of holding extended mental conversations, enjoying topics like music, art, and science. It displays a slight interest in the SCP Foundation, although it is likely this is because of its immediate surroundings and not for malevolent reasons. 598 is not a physical organism. It does not move, grow, eat, sleep, or excrete waste, so it is not technically alive. Any color-accurate copy of 598 reproduced by any means including a computer, video recording, or mirrors will become 598. An interesting phenomenon occurs whenever any shortwave radio is placed within 4 meters of it. They will begin to pick up a previously out-of-range station which will broadcast different noises. As of yet, the following have been recorded. Wolf-like howling, whale song, frogs croaking, punctuated by insect sounds, low humming of unknown origin, high-pitched chirping noises revealed to be bat noises brought into human hearing frequencies. 598 does not seem to know where these noises originate, yet enjoys a radio placed in the room and tuned to this frequency. The noises change at random and go on for hours at a time. It has been suggested by Dr. Blank that a sample of 598 be introduced to SCP-85, pending approval by overseers and all involved parties. And that one was what now? Oh, that lady! That should be interesting if they ever actually do that. Now for the Uncharted City, which is Euclid. SCP-598 is... No, that was the last one. 599 is to be entirely enclosed within Site Blank, which has been modified to look like a mountain from the outside. Any unauthorized tampering with Site Blank will result in its complete destruction. Oh. Under no circumstances are any means of external communication allowed within Site Blank. Any personnel who enter 599 are to be given a thorough psychiatric evaluation immediately upon returning. SCP-598 is 99 is a small city located in Blank with a population of approximately 700. The inhabitants refer to it as Blank. It does not appear on any map of the region or to any of the roads leading to it. 599 was classified as an SCP when it became known to the Foundation that every inhabitant of the city matched the description and name of a person reported missing from a nearby city in the last 10 years. When questioned, all subjects insisted that they had always lived in 599 before invariably added that they were always looking for new neighbors. All Foundation personnel who enter 599 are strongly encouraged by the inhabitants to purchase a house in 599. Refusal is ultimately met with hostility, though so far no incidents of violence have been reported. And then a personal log of Agent Blank, codename Agent Apocalymer. Day 1. Arrived in the mysterious city of Blank. The city does not appear on any map, and the roads leading to it are all unmarked. The Foundation has decided to classify Blank as an SCP. I have been sent to determine the threat level posed by the newly designated 599. I received a fairly warm reception upon arrival. It almost seemed like they knew I was coming. I'm very tired from my trip. The locals agreed to put me up in a nearby motel. I was reluctant to actually sleep inside a designated SCP, but didn't seem to have much choice. I checked in using the fake name and dummy credit account provided by the Foundation. According to the guest book, nobody else has checked in for quite a while. Day 2. I heard noises in the motel all night. The guest book still shows no entries but mine. Attempted to acquire information on the inhabitants of 599. City Hall contains names and addresses of all the inhabitants, but no records of births or deaths. Was asked on 3 separate occasions if I planned to move into Blank. Each time I supplied the answer, I'm thinking about it, which isn't technically a lie. I'm thinking that the answer is no. Day 3. My door was unlocked this morning. It was locked from the inside. Someone went through my things, but nothing seems to be missing. There isn't anything in there that contains any real information on me anyway. I found a street in the residential district today that I'm certain wasn't there yesterday. Several houses were present, but none were inhabited. The people living nearby claim that the previous occupants moved away, adding that it's been so lonely ever since. Again, City Hall holds no records of anyone ever moving away. Day 4. Caught someone skulking around my car last night. Must make sure to set the alarm every time I leave it. I needed to find something in town today, so I went to try and find a map. There doesn't seem to be a map of this damn place anywhere. Not even at the library. Speaking of the library, it's probably the most empty library I've ever seen. There's nothing that could possibly give me any background information about this city, not even newspaper archives. I did, however, find Agent Blank at the library. Agent Blank was sent to the city shortly after his classification as an SCP and never reported back. He seemed to have no memory of me or of the Foundation. He was, however, very enthusiastic about convincing me to move in, as well as introducing me to his wife and children. The youngest appears to be at least 5 years old. Agent Blank has only been missing for 6 months. In the middle of all this, I completely forgot what it was I had wanted to look for in the first place. Day 5. I remember what I wanted to find yesterday. I've noticed that several things are completely absent from this place. The city has no cemeteries, no funeral homes, no mortuaries, no headstone markers, and no hospitals. Day 6. What the hell is going on here? I just turned on the sink in my motel room to brush my teeth. No water came out. Instead, I was hit with a loud hissing sound and the smell of natural gas? The same thing happened when I turned on the shower and flushed the toilet. That settles it. I'm getting out of this place right now. Blank, blank, blank. I'm writing this entry from the safety of a reputable hotel and data expunged. Allow me to recount the things that happened as I tried to leave 599. First, the deadbolt in my motel room refused to disengage. I had to break a window to escape. As I was leaving, I was certain I heard the sink and shower come on. My car had somehow migrated to the other side of the parking lot. As soon as I got out of the parking lot, a violent thunderstorm started. It was the first time there had ever been so much as a breeze since I arrived. 2 major streets were closed, one for construction and one due to a down power line. At least a dozen cars had all broken down in the middle of an intersection. Finally, at the last intersection before I got out of town, the light suddenly turned red without an intervening yellow and stayed that way for half an hour. I finally decided to ignore the light and floored it. The cable holding the light broke as I drove under it, and the traffic light just barely missed my car. If the Foundation expects me to keep working like this, they'll have to start paying me a lot more than they do. Note, pay increase declined. Welcome to the Foundation. Get used to it. 056. Damn. And that brings us into the 600s with that guy. And who is that guy? That guy is safe? That guy is contained in a Class E suite in Site 17, dimensions 15 by 15 by 3 meters, 2 security cameras to monitor that guy at all times, a standard steel door with a reinforced double-paneled windows secures the suite. No special procedures are required for entering or exiting the suite, with the caveat that that guy may attempt to follow researchers out of containment. A simple reprimand in order to return to containment has proved sufficient to curtail this behavior. That guy is a humanoid entity, approximately 1.7 meters tall, with a build approximating an adult human male of average weight for its height. That guy is generally featureless, lacking facial features, external ears, nails, body hair, genitalia, and anus. Full body scans have shown that guy to have no internal structures of any kind, instead being formed from an unknown material of uniform density close to that of human muscle tissue. It neither ingests, respirates, nor excretes. That guy's age has not been determined. That guy telepathically affects all humans who view it, causing it to take on their superficial personal characteristics. This effect only alters the visual perception of affected persons. That guy's actual forms can still be detected by camera sensors and touch. The perceived resemblance between that guy and an affected viewer is general and superficial. No viewers have found it to be notable or uncanny in any way. Characteristics imitated by the subject include but are not limited to hair color, skin color, eye color, age, clothing style, and general physique. Note that clothing imitated by that guy is entirely illusory. Animal tests reveal that non-human organisms appear not to perceive the subject unless they physically collide with it. When humans are present, that guy will attempt to engage in conversation. It appears its conversation repertoire is limited. It will discuss trivialities such as weather or other small talk, or attempt to commiserate with those present about professional matters as if it were similarly employed. Such discussions are superficial, filled with jargon appropriate to the person's area of expertise, but consist largely of obvious statements and platitudes. Attempts at more substantial discussion are deflected, and that guy displays no deep domain knowledge of any field of employment. When not in the presence of humans, that guy is generally inactive, standing in a single pose for hours or even days at a time without any apparent reaction to outside stimulus. The subject is generally cooperative, but displays an unsettling tendency to refer to itself in the third person when speaking to the researchers assigned to it, frequently referring to the SCP-600 case. See attached interview log 600-E for an example of this behavior. It has requested that researchers refer to it as George, but it is upset by refusal to do so. Good morning, that guy. Today we're going to be performing some tests of your recall abilities. Hey, Blank, no need to be so formal. I told you before, just call me George. I don't think that would be appropriate. Ah, Blank, always the consummate professional. Anyway, how are the kids doing? Blank must be getting pretty big now. I'm not going to discuss that with you. Now, if you would please look at the 4 images on this page. Oh, that's cool. Let's get down to business. Say, what are your thoughts on the SCP-600 case? He's certainly an odd one, not that we haven't seen our share of odd ones. Personally, I think the containment procedure are a little lax. Please try to focus on the exercise. Now, in the first picture, do you think his ability is mimetic? Wasn't Dr. Blank's team looking into that? If you are unable to focus on the matter at hand, I will be forced to discontinue this exercise. Oh, sorry, it's just such a fascinating case. You want to get a beer after work? I have some theories I'd like to bounce off you. I have a suspicion that Redacted is tied up in this somehow. This exercise is over. So that guy seems fun. But that about does it for this episode. In the next one, we'll be covering Sophocles' Chorus, the Sculptor of Soho, Self-Replicating Computer Program, The Cannibal's Banquet, a Corrupted Ritual, and Living Storm Cloud. So, this has been Anachi Sasuke. This is episode 129 of Let's Read the SCP Foundation Wiki. If you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you didn't, you need to do either one of those things, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later.